Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Blinken over here. Before I get into my questioning, I am compelled to say something about Afghanistan. I actually represent one of those Marines who was injured at Abbey Gate. We owe these veterans and their families a deep explanation about what had happened there. I, too, agree that we have not satisfactorily, and this administration has not satisfactorily addressed that. I concur with what the chairman had said on that. Now I want to turn to the border. Lots of focus on the southern border. I want to talk about the northern border, and those of us from Michigan, the eastern border, quite frankly. The Great Lakes, recently myself and my Democrat colleague Brian Higgins led a number of colleagues in on a letter regarding the Great Lakes from the Great Lakes Task Force requesting President Biden urge his Canadian counterparts to increase their share of funding into a lot of the efforts that have gone into Great Lakes quality. There is a Great Lakes Water Quality Agreement and 1954 Convention on the Great Lakes fisheries, which obligate both Canada and the United States to provide funding for the Great Lakes. Fiscal year 2024, the United States has, through the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, an authorized level of $425 million. By comparison, the government of Canada committed just $32.97 million, so just under $33 million between 2017 and 2022. Combined. So that's 5 years. They've done $33 billion. The letter is requesting that the president pursue this with his counterpart, Justin Trudeau. And I want to know if you have an expectation that the president will fulfill that request, and also I need to know about you and your commitment to doing that.
Yes and yes. And I can tell you that we've been discussing this with the Canadians, and your timing, Congressman, couldn't be better because, as you probably know, we're actually leaving this evening for Canada, and I can assure you that will be on the agenda.
Yep, I'm very aware. I actually happen to, I might be new to the committee, but I'm not new to the issues. I've been chair of the U.S.-Canada Interparliamentary Group for a number of terms now. I also want to, sticking to our friends of the North, but expand that a little bit, I want to talk about the Arctic and the Arctic Council. The Arctic Council came into being in 1996. It's the 8 countries that touch the Arctic Circle and above, U.S., Canada, Russia, Norway, Denmark through Greenland, Finland, Sweden, and Iceland. There is something in the Ottawa Declaration that states explicitly, quote, "The Arctic Council should not deal with matters related to military security," close quote. Yet, Russia's increased military presence and operations in the Arctic and responding actions by the militaries of other Arctic states are one source of competition and tension that has come to the Arctic. According to the BBC, Russia under Putin envisions a toll road of sorts to transit across the northern sea route that would transit goods and energy from Asia ports to ports in Europe. As part of that, he has militarized and nuclearized the Arctic to ensure his ships requiring access would have to rely on Russia's ice-breaking escort, and we've seen more aggressive military behavior by Russia in that area. Additionally, also according to the BBC, in February of 2023, Canada's military has said it discovered evidence of Chinese surveillance efforts in the Arctic. These were buoys that they believed China had dropped in there. Is it time to, one, re-examine what that partner agencies and those partners in the Arctic, those allies, how we interact with them, and then, as you know, after the Russian invasion, that the work was sort of paused. I'm wanting to know what the State Department and this administration plans to do to address those issues.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I actually took part in an Arctic Council meeting my first year on this job. We are committed to, and we have a strategy that we put out last October, which, if you haven't seen, I commend to you and happy to further discussion on that. Look, our goal, shared goal, is to do whatever we can with the other countries to try to preserve the Arctic as a peaceful, stable, prosperous, and cooperative place. But if there are challenges to that, to its peaceful nature, obviously.
Yeah.
We need to deal with them, and we're operating in a different environment.
Understandably, we have to dance a kabuki dance a bit with Russia because they are part of that Arctic Council. However, China has to be at the forefront of the discussion of what is happening in the Arctic as well. My time is expiring, but I look forward to continuing the conversation.
I recognize